The true historical story before Accra became capital city. Before Greater Accra became the political heart of Ghana, before Accra turned into a capital city with highways, ministries, and embassies, the land already had owners, stories, and deep-rooted civilizations. Contrary to popular belief, Greater Accra was never an empty coastal strip waiting to be settled. It was a living space shaped by waves of migration, conflict, trade, and survival long before Europeans arrived. The earliest inhabitants, the Guan presence, the earliest known settlers of what we now call Greater Accra were Guan-speaking peoples. Long before the Ga name existed, Guan communities occupied parts of the coastal plains and inland savanna zones. They lived off fishing, farming, and trade, and they established sacred lands, shrines, and governance systems. These Guan groups didn't vanish, some were absorbed, some displaced, and others renamed through time. Their presence laid the first human foundation of the region. The Ga migration, not one journey, but many. The Ga people did not migrate as a single group from one location. Their movement into the Greater Accra area happened in stages, influenced by pressure from powerful inland states, especially from the Benin and later the Yaoba regions, and by regional conflicts along the Volta Basin. Oral traditions trace Ga origins eastward, with connections to Benin, Al-If, and areas around the lower Volta. These migrations were not peaceful marches, they involved wars, negotiations, and strategic settlements. When the Ga arrived at the coast, they didn't just settle. They fought, negotiated, and absorbed existing populations. This process gave birth to major Ga towns such as Ayawaso, which became a powerful inland capital before Accra ever existed. Ayawaso, the forgotten capital before Jamestown, Osu, and Usroder, Ayawaso was the political and spiritual center of the Ga people. It controlled trade routes between the coast and the forest zones and acted as a buffer against invading powers. Ayawaso's destruction during conflicts with Aquamach forces in the 17th century reshaped Greater Accra forever. Survivors moved toward the coast, forming the Ga coastal towns we know today. So Accra was built first. Accra was the aftermath. Europeans didn't create Accra, they followed power. When the Portuguese arrived in the late 1400s, they didn't discover Accra. They found organized coastal towns, established leadership, and trade systems already in place. European forts like Osu Castle Christobrester were built because Ga communities controlled trade and land. Europeans paid rent, negotiated treaties, and depended on local authority. Greater Accra became important not because Europeans chose it but because Africans had already made it important. From coastal towns to capital city, Accra became Ghana's capital in 1877 under British colonial rule, replacing Cape Coast. This decision transformed the region dramatically. People from every part of Ghana, Akan, Dagoma, Hausa, Nisma, and others migrated into Greater Accra for work, education, and opportunity. This is when Accra truly became a melting pot, but the Ga remained the landowners. This migration often blurred history, leading to the false idea that the Ga were latecomers. In reality, others moved into Ga land, not the other way around. The truth many don't talk about: Greater Accra is not just a modern city, it is the result of ancient migrations, destroyed capitals, coastal survival, and political power shifts. The Ga did not appear suddenly. They did not borrow Accra. They forged it through centuries of movement, resistance, and adaptation. Accra didn't make the Ga. The Ga made Accra.